Why are people more critical towards women when it comes to sexual partners than men? Different cultures and values. As a woman, I prefer men that haven't had sex with the entire town. Lots of other people have commented on your question, which I won't reproduce. In your particular situation, is it the same people who are encouraging multiple partners to your boyfriend are applauding you for having one partner, or are they different people? If they are different people, then it may be more of a reflection of their particular values rather than men vs women's sexual activity. The dynamic that exists in most of the world today has men pursuing women, and women choosing whether or not to allow those men to have sex with them. So when a man has had sex with a lot of women, it's seen as an achievement. When a woman has had sex with a lot of men, it's seen as not being very discerning. And this is just speculation on my part, but I'm guessing it's tied to evolutionary biology. Reproduction is quick and easy for men. Wham, bam, thank you mom. A man's best chance to reproduce is to have sex with as many women as possible. Reproduction is slow, dangerous, and resource-intensive for women. A woman's best chance to reproduce is to have sex with a man who will stay around and help raise their children to ensure those children reach adulthood. I really would like to understand the reasoning as to why people think this way. I know it's a double standard in society, but what are the actual reasons that women get shamed for being with a certain amount of men, while men are praised for it? If you view women as the gatekeepers to sexual access, then giving out that access willy-nilly is kinda like you failed in your duty. Meanwhile, if a man is able to gain access to multiple women, which is supposed to be hard, given this presupposition, then he has done something difficult. People respect what is difficult and look poorly upon what is a perceived failure. It's stupid. Men should not be praised for being promiscuous, nor should women. It's called a double standard. Nobody should be praised for being overly promiscuous, honestly, men and women alike. As a dude, I think it's fucking gross when other dudes engage in hookup culture and have had more than a handful of partners. I think they are degrading themselves and cheapening their value for superficial dopamine hits. Misogyny, it can be called other things, but at the root of all those other reasons, it's just misogyny. Generally, it's easier for women to get laid than men, so if a man can have sex with a lot of women, he's just cool. If a woman has sex with a lot of men, she's just easy. This comes from biological factors, because obviously it's easier for a man to reproduce than it is for a woman to reproduce 10 seconds vs 9 months. These biological factors have then been built up by years of male-dominated societies, religious beliefs, etc. Hypocrisy. Because double standards, because sexism, because misogyny, because patriarchy. A different standard when it is about sex. Some men do not want a woman who has had lots of sex. Misogyny. I found that it's shifted lately. Most men I know who have a lot of sex are assumed to have manipulated their way into it or are otherwise just viewed as sleazy. Women who have a lot of sex are seen as people who have taken control of their sexuality and are largely more accepted. Feel like it goes back to ancient times. You knew who the father was if the woman only had sex with one man. The most common argument I hear from a secular standpoint is about mileage, as in, her parts will be worn out after use. This idea never comes from sexually active men. That isn't how muscles work. If you think 10 different whiners are different than one whiner 10 times, you're delusional unless your junk is the size of a baby. You aren't stretching anything. That's just not how it works. This is the only argument I can think of. Because anyone can give you an STI regardless of what's in their pants. Misogyny. Unfortunately, it is misogyny. Misogyny